I'm loving iRestore's latest skincare products. Their Renew Calming Facial Spray is amazing, especially for dry skin. It gives instant hydration, calms irritation, and helps firm your skin. And when used before the Illumina Red Light Face Mask, it enhances the benefits of the therapy. I also suggest pairing the Renew Calming Facial Spray and Anti-Aging Eye Cream with your Illumina Face Mask so you can see even better results. Give your skincare the love it deserves. For a limited time, subscribe and save 25% off or more, plus free shipping on iRestore Skincare, and our listeners are getting a huge discount on the iRestore Illumina face mask when you use code SALLY at iRestore.com. So head over to iRestore.com and use code SALLY for our show's exclusive discounts. Please support our show and tell them that we sent you. Unlock your best skin with iRestore.
Did you know Function is the only health platform that gives you access to the kind of data most people never see and the insights to actually take action? That's why Sally and I have chosen Function. Function can test over 160 biomarkers, from heart and hormones to toxins, inflammation, and stress. You can also access multi-region MRI and CT scans, all tracked in one secure place over time. That's why top health leaders like Dr. Mark Hyman, Dr. Andrew Huberman, and Dr. Jeremy London are all behind Function Health. And lab visits are fast and convenient at 2,000 plus locations across the U.S. For $499 a year, that's $1.37 a day for cutting-edge health insights. All results are tracked over time in one secure place, so you see how your health evolves. Insights come from top doctors based on your unique results. Learn more and join using our link. The first 1,000 get a $100 credit toward their membership. Visit functionhealth.com/Sally McRae or use gift code Sally McRae at sign up to own your health. Hello and welcome to another episode of the Choose Strong podcast. I am here with Sally McRae.
Hello and welcome.
Welcome. How you doing today, Sally?
Good. Getting ready to fly out to UTMB. So I have a flight here. Got to leave for in about an hour.
All right. So France, what is the weather like in France? A little different than Southern California?
Yeah, we had a heat wave this week, and it looks like it'll be raining all week in Chamonix.
So is that good for the race, or is that like, no, that's not good? It doesn't depend because they go through so many different places, right, during the race. It's like, I guess it doesn't matter in Chamonix if it's raining, huh?
Yeah, UTMB historically has all different types of weather. In all the years that I've done it, we've had snow, heat, rain, and you're crossing through, 3 different countries. So yeah, you don't know what to expect. And you start at night too. So you're in the mountains and you start at 6 p.m. And there are several years that I've raced it where they've had to push the race back because of bad weather. So you're just standing there at the start line for 1 hour, 2 hours, just waiting for a storm to pass through. So it's not unusual that there's rain forecasted for this week. That's actually pretty common. And all runners are required to carry pretty significant gear. I mean, you're up in the mountains, you're in the Alps. So usually you have a storm jacket, an extra base layer, an extra layer. You have like a warm layer of pants. Then you have waterproof pants on top of that. You have to have 2 different like caps. So most people will do like a bandana and a beanie. You have to have gloves and then waterproof gloves. So everything that you're carrying, it has to be versatile, both just for cold weather, but also if it's wet. But yeah, very common for it to be rainy around this time. And like I was saying, because you're going through, 3 different countries, it's, you could start off sunny at the start line and then hit snow by the time you're in Switzerland, which also makes it fun. It's part of the adventure. I think that's the joy in trail running, especially mountain running. You don't know what you're going to expect, and weather can change at any time. And so you have to be able to adapt and be ready for whatever you encounter.
And it doesn't matter out there where if it's snowing or hailing, there's people out there cheering, right? Because it's like such a big, that once a year time where they all come out, the community, the families, they all come out. Doesn't matter, rain or shine, right? Cheering.
Yeah, historically, UTMB, I'd say most European races, they interact with trail running, a little bit differently than we do here in the United States. And I think that there's a little bit more freedom over there for people to spectate, the way their courses run. I mean, there's people out in the mountains all the time. I mean, sometimes you climb to the top of these mountains, it's where people live.
Yeah.
So whether you see, you know, farmers and people herding their sheep and their cattle, that's pretty common in these races. So then you hit like these little villages. But, I've always found that in Europe, they take the sport very seriously and they have a lot of respect for the people that race and they're very passionate about it. So, you could be working your way up a climb at midnight and come upon a group of people just sitting on a rock, or maybe they made a little campfire type thing and they're just sitting cheering for people.
That's awesome.
Yeah, it's really cool. The UTMB course is permanent, so people can go at any time and hike it, which I think that's the best way to do it because there's refugios all along the course that you can stay in, get some really good gnocchi and, have a warm bed at night, in the middle of the mountains and then continue on the rest of the course the next day. But it's something that is always open. So even as you're racing, there's thru hikers, there's backpackers that are on these really long trips. And so you, as you're racing, you're hitting all types of people out on the course and enjoying the mountain in different ways.
That's got to be so cool where it's pitch black and you're tired, you're by yourself, you're going up this mountain, all of a sudden you see this family like sitting around a fire cheering for you. It's got to give you some extra energy to push through.
Well, the race itself has the most participants in any other race in the world. So, you're not really ever alone.
Yeah.
And I think the misconception of UTMB is that it's just this big mountain race, but the reality is that you do a big climb up a mountain and then you typically just descend into a village. So you're hitting these little villages and towns, and then you have to run through those towns in order to get to the next trailhead or to the next mountain. So there's quite a bit of road running and fast running at UTMB. Yeah, insane climbs that last 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 miles. You're just climbing with some pretty intense descents, but you also have to have some pretty good leg turnover, especially if you're racing for the podium. As you go through those towns, you might run anywhere between 1 and 3 miles before you get to the next climb. And so you couple that with 106 miles of racing. This is why you see increasingly fast times in that race. You got to be a good climber and have fast feet.
Yeah.
So
this year you're going over there. What's your role? What are you going to be doing over there?
Yeah, so Nike Trail is kind of merged into Nike ACG. And so this is my 11th year with Nike and just going over there to help promote the Nike ACG. There's a lot of exciting things that are happening around the ACG team. So we have shakeout runs and activations. I'll be doing some free trail shows around the races, some pre-race shows and then post-race shows. I'll be doing that with like Dylan Bowman and Jim Walmsley. So that'll be really fun.
Nice.
So a little bit of both. This will be the first time I go over there that I won't be able to get up in the mountains and run and hammer, but I am really grateful because this is one of the most exciting parties of the year in our sport. It's the closest that we get to the Olympics as far as the number of countries represented, of competition. The competition is so deep in all of these races, which I've always appreciated, that you have a really good variety of people coming from all over the world to race against. So I think you just get like a better picture of really the caliber of athletes.
Yeah.
One of the top pieces of advice I've given to people who have sought out, how do I make a career for myself in trail running? It's like, you got to get to races that have a depth of competition.
Mm-hmm.
And that way you can kind of see, how well you do. And I think that UTMB, that stage is a really great stage. I mean, people's lives are changed, careers, people get signed after these races. It really puts people's careers into motion because there's so much media, there's so much competition, and it really is an honor to be in the top 10 in any of the races, whether it's CCC, OCC, UTMB, TDS. It really is an exciting time. So it's always good to be a part of it. We also see this as just like the mecca for every single running brand on the planet. My first UTMB was in 2015. This will be my 7th time going back for the event, and I've seen it change so much. Much like Western States, it's just, the number of people that are there, the number of brands that are there, the investment into trail running has changed so much in the last decade. And so there's always something going on. So if people are there in Chamonix, of course, I would love to see you. Or if you could show up for one of the activations or runs that I'll be at, I would love to meet you face to face. But on any given day, you can count on several group runs happening, especially in the morning, but there might be some evening ones and afternoon and shoe testing and talks. I think when I went in 2023, I actually was signed up. I was brought to do the TDS, but it was when I was doing the Grand Slam of 200s. And that's when they had put Tahoe 200 and Bigfoot 200 just 17 days apart. And that wasn't supposed to be planned, but my body was so beaten up. But I really did want to put TDS in there before I ran Moab, which is totally crazy because I think TDS it's just like 6 or 7 miles shorter of UTMB, but it's a little bit more rugged. Many people will agree that it's actually tougher than UTMB. It doesn't get as much attention, but I've always wanted to do that course. And I thought, man, it'd be really cool to put that in with the Grand Slam. But when I had got it into town in 2023, I had some pretty significant nerve issues in my feet where just every step was hurting. I didn't talk about it during the Grand Slam, but I knew that it was because of the volume that I had done in those races. My good friend Jeff Browning, he actually called me when I was in Chamonix. We had a good talk about it. He's like, I've dealt with that too. You're going to be okay. You're going to get past it. And I did for the most part, in time for Moab. Still dealt with it like a little bit at Moab, but I just remember having to pull the plug on TDS. And then because of that, like all my sponsors and they knew that I was there not racing. So I ended up doing, I think it was 13 activations in the span of like 6 days or something like that. So I remember coming home from that and saying, wow, I've never been so tired after coming home from UTMB. Usually after racing, I'm not as tired.
Yeah.
But I was kind of running all over town doing talks and panels and runs and live shows and podcasts. And it was a fun time. I mean, I think in 23, I was like, wow, this is such an exciting time in our sport. There's so much going on in so many ways that we can be a part of the sport, in so many ways that we can connect. And so, that was my first year being there and having a really packed week and not racing. And that was really eye-opening for me, just as far as how I interact with the sport and just, I think even just revealing how much my career has evolved, not just as an athlete, but being able to get on the microphone and connect with people and hopefully, spread some good news about our sport and connect with good people, tell good stories. So this year will be very similar to that. And I'm really looking forward to it.
2015 to 2025, 10 years of, you've definitely seen it evolve and grow. And I know you, to your point, over the past few years, I've always heard you talk to people that aren't racing, that are involved in the sport or want to race it one day, or are a photographer or videographer, and they're looking for a job. And you're like, you always give them advice like, just get over there, find a way to get over there, to be a part of it, to be connected with just some of those group runs, get to know people, just the
Mhm.
importance of being over there and how exciting just being over there is, even though you might not have a role or, just to be in that atmosphere with a bunch of people that are in love with the sport, that are like-minded. Is you've always encouraged them to do that. It's probably a pretty good advice.
Yeah, I think for those that are listening that are on the creative side and you are into film, photography, documentary, UTMB is a great way to network and just meet people. As my career has not even before I was a professional runner, my favorite part of just working, building my own business has always just been the people. And I feel that if you are going to succeed pretty much in any career, it's so important that you learn to communicate,
Yeah.
invest in people, and really build genuine bridges with people, connect with people. On the flip side of that, which has kind of been difficult, is business is business.
Mm-hmm.
And so the business networking side has also been difficult for me because it's like, okay, I always just want to be everyone's friend and just connect in a real
Totally.
way and grab coffee. And so it's navigating those, finding those good, genuine relationships has taken me a long time.
Mm-hmm.
I think business is hard. I think, and that's my friends who are creatives, I tell them that all the time. You think you're friends with a brand or you're in with a brand, and it really is about what you can do for them. At the
Totally.
end of the day, that's it.
Yep.
And then they move on when they're, when they're done with their project, and you make nice and you move on to the next project. But
Mm-hmm.
if you do have that opportunity to make real, genuine connections, hold on to those.
Yep.
Because they are few and rare. It's just a hard part of the business. But that's why it is also so important that you are constantly showing up. We can't depend on other people to build your career. And we can also expect that someone that's worked so hard in their career to just give you free handouts and
Sure.
opportunities for no reason. But I think putting in the hard work, it is about laying a foundation. The best thing you can do is build good, real relationships. And I think it's finding out what you actually like to do and sticking to it, and also staying true to who you are
Mm-hmm.
and really what you love. And I think right now in the sport of trail and ultra, it's growing so rapidly that we do need pillars of strong, genuine people that are going to continue to forge ahead in the sport, as opposed to people that are just finding spaces where, I can make a quick buck here. Here's a hole where I can really, find advantage here. And again, that is just part of business. It's the business side of things. But I know on a very personal level, when I step into these big, huge events, I'm trying to find where I can build good relationships. Where can we build something good? Where can we
Mm-hmm.
build something that's genuine and unique? Because at the root of our sport, it has always been for the love of nature and being outdoors. The respect and appreciation for the hard things that we all do has nothing to do with whether or not you're on the podium or not. I mean,
Right.
anybody, no matter the pace, no matter the age or where you come from, if you're standing at the start line of these races, mad respect for you, And I think I love to see creators still tell those stories.
Mm-hmm.
Love to see creators still capture those moments. It's what connects us and really grows the community. And so, I mean, I just had this conversation with someone last month who's trying to find ways to connect with brands, and I hear all the time photographers and videographers, dude, it's so hard to get in. And I was like, yeah, but if you can get in once with a
you're
brand,
in,
it's a really, really good thing. But
Mm-hmm.
you need to get yourself over there, and you also need to do something for nothing.
Yeah.
And
be willing to do
I
it
think
for
that's
nothing.
so hard
Mm-hmm.
for people to understand this day and age. It's they want a big paycheck and this pay me $2,000 a day, right away.
Yeah.
And it's what if you just, I mean, Billy Yang and I, we did so much creative work together at the beginning of my career. We did documentaries and films and shows and got on stage for nothing.
Mm-hmm.
We didn't charge anything.
Yeah.
And I love looking at Billy's like old stuff, and we still talk about it too, but it's just like, it was so genuine. It was so pure.
For the
Because
love of the
it was
sport, for the
purely
love,
for the
yeah.
love of it. Like, we weren't looking for sponsorships or anything. It was like, this is like literally the stories and the adventures that we're living, and we would just share it.
Yeah.
And Billy Yang's Mont Blanc film is still one of his most popular films. To this day, I can't go to Chamonix without walking around with Billy and people still coming up to him and saying, that film is like why I'm here
Yeah, that's cool.
in Chamonix, is because that film, Mont Blanc. But I think it's like having that appreciation for it. It takes a lot of years if you want to build something good, something genuine, something lasting, something that you're proud of and that you can stand on. It does take patient, slow work, and you need to be okay with investing your own money. You need to be okay with investing your own time and not being so obsessed with what you're getting in return.
Yeah.
And I think, yeah, it's kind of the world we're living in right now,
Totally.
and it's hard when that's like all around us. It's easy to make a quick buck, especially in the creative world, whether it's like being an influencer. I mean, it's crazy sometimes what I hear that, 18-year-old influencers make. You have 1 million
dude,
followers, and
crazy.
it's like, wow, you make 6-7 figures a year. And so it's the mindset around building something around being a creator, being a creative, and just being okay with, okay, I'm going to focus on building relationships instead of focusing on the money on the contract. I'm going to focus on like really leaning into what gets me fired up, to the passion in my heart. I'm going to focus on like being the best version of myself and staying true to myself and making sure that those are the signatures of my work. That takes courage and bravery to do that, because that also means you have to be patient.
Yep.
And that means that you're going to get little in return.
Yep.
So it's a give and take. Billy and I were laughing about this too. I mean, you're going to spend years like also taking on gigs just because they pay your bills, So it's like, yeah, I'm going to advertise toothpaste right now so that I could work on these like 4 other, projects
Passion
that I
projects,
love
yeah.
so much that have, I mean, that's kind of what's going on with this passion project I'm doing with Makenzie, Let Her Fly. I'm like, I don't want sponsors on that.
Right.
I don't want anyone touching that. That's a passion project of mine. And so it's going to take a lot longer for that to get out. And I think that's like what keeps, I think, a creative person moving forward and excited about their work is make sure you have something in there that you love, that you're doing, that is really at the root of why you started anyway. Yeah, you're going to do some projects that you don't like that like pay good money. But yeah, so UTMB, Western States, that's always, Javelina 100. If you can get out there and just like put yourself to work and offer your time and your experience, your expertise without demanding, tons and tons of money back in return, it might change your life, like,
yeah.
So
Good advice.
just getting over there
out there.
is always a good idea. Yeah.
We just got back from Flagstaff, dropping off Makenzie to her first apartment. So we've been pretty busy, so I haven't really chatted much about it to you. But it's been different than last year, because last year it was first time moving out and into college. But yeah, that's how you feeling about?
How are you feeling? How about you? I've talked a lot already.
Well, okay, so I'm, like I said, it wasn't as hard as last year. I miss her already, but it's just fun to see her grow up, and now she's in an apartment now, and so that was special to move her in and get her going, and now she's part of the team right now doing the team stuff. So yeah, it's good to be back. But speaking of back, I actually, when I was moving her in, up 3 flights of stairs, and it was funny because her roommate Peyton comes up the stairs with like these 2 big bags, and she had like this tank top on, and she's got these biceps, and I was like, dude, Peyton, look at you, like got some muscles, like getting up here, I like it. She goes, yeah, but I couldn't get that desk down there. I wish I had the muscles to do that. And I'm like, I got this. I go down there and I grab the desk, right? I'm like showing Peyton what's up. So I like throw the desk up on my head. Like it was like one of those awkward, like heavier top and then the bottom, obviously the legs. So I took it up the whole stairs. And then by the time I got into the house, I'm trying to like maneuver it down so I don't slam it on the ground because it's pretty heavy. But as I was doing that and put it kind of awkwardly down my back, said, "What are you doing?" And slapped me a few times back there, and wasn't quite the same. In fact, it's been a few days and it's still not quite the same. So that was not good. And then driving home on that was not good. But yeah, it wasn't about me. It was about her moving in, and stoked for her that she's in a new apartment with her friends. So fun times for her.
Her first apartment.
First apartment. Yeah, it's big time. Big time. So yeah, stoked on her. All right, let's move on then, Sal.
That's it?
Well,
That's all you're
yeah.
gonna say about saying goodbye to your daughter?
I think if I talk too much about it, I'll just get sad. So I just kind of want to move on.
What makes you sad?
It's just I miss her, right? Like, you just she's not around, and she's getting older, and that means I'm getting older, and yeah. And I even feel like texting wise, like she's a little more like distant, not in like I don't want to talk to you, but more of like, hey, I'm good. Like I'm settling in with the team and with the apartment. In fact, the only text that she gave me so far that's been gone a few days is like, "Hey Dad, the apartment place called and said I didn't pay the money yet." So that was the nice "Dad, I miss you" text. But yeah, no, I'm excited for her.
She has her own kitchen.
Yep. She's got a little good place, 2 bedrooms, 2 bath. Like, it's good size, and right across the street from everything that she does. So yeah, I'm excited for her.
Starting off the year with a broken toe.
That's a bummer. Poor thing. But it's
not from running.
Not from running. Yeah, from playing a game. Right?
Barefoot.
Like, barefoot. But yeah.
Yeah.
Anyways, she'll bounce back. Her little toes are like this big, so it can't be that big of a break, but
yeah,
she's already on the mend. All right, moving on, Sal. I got a review on a mention real quick here from Apple from Elise. She said, "I found the Choose Strong podcast years ago after returning to running with my second baby, now almost 6. The playful banter and goal updates of Sally and Eddie are so enlightening on long runs, but it's the honest advice from their experience that helped me the most as a mother of 3 who has big running goals. During my last 50K, the episode about a smart DNF helped me battle my ego and no matter what to finish strong." So thank you for that, Elise, and thanks for listening. And yeah, dude, solid work on the 50K.
Amazing.
Yep. And even more importantly, solid work on raising 3 kids.
Yeah.
That's impressive.
Yeah, that's commitment right
there. That's commitment. That's right. All right, moving on. I'm going to give a little shout out to a couple people, just 2 today. We got Rhonda from the Strava group. Rhonda has a picture of her and her husband, and she said, "As a caregiver to my 94-year-old mother, one of us has to stay and be with her. So it was my first ride this afternoon, probably 20 plus miles." And she said, "What a team." So they are tag teaming, helping out 94-year-old mom.
Amazing.
That is some strong love right there. And she's still getting her 20 plus bike miles in and staying healthy in order to provide for mom, man. I like that.
Amazing.
That's a good one. All right. The last one that I have is Michelle. She's also on Strava, on the Choose Strong Strava group. She said, "Today I did something I've never really done. I took the day off because I needed a day of rest. I fought off guilt and anxiety for taking the day off. And then I fought off my definition of what today should look like and what others may think. Finally, I took off and I enjoyed this fast walk-ish walk. Taking the time because it's August in Texas, so it's pretty hot. Keep choosing strong, fam. Sorry about the not rounded off time, Eddie." Hey, Michelle, that's okay. You got 2.5 miles of walking and you had a little mental day off of exercise. And that's needed every once in a while, right, Sal?
Yes,
Yeah.
100%.
Yeah.
Walking is a great way to do that.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, it's getting outside, even though it was kind of hot in Austin. But yeah, it's so important that we do that, right? Take some time off just to get outside and walk. And so shout out to Michelle for doing that. We see you, Michelle. Well done. All summer, I've been living in the AFO Middle Short Ultra from Jonji. They're super comfortable and amazing shorts for running and for everyday wear too. They're lightweight with 6 pockets, a ton of room for gels in your phone, and they have a moisture wicking brief liner. And reflective detailing around hand pockets and reflective logos in the front and the back keep you seen and safe. Janji makes running apparel for everyday exploration with designs, materials, and features meant to help runners go farther and is made with durability in mind. And also, it's backed by a 5-year guarantee. Head over to janji.com to check out some designs for yourself and use code CHOOSESTRONG for 10% off your order. That's janji.com and use code CHOOSESTRONG. When was the last time that you needed to go to a doctor but you pushed it off? Made the excuse of, I'm too busy, or I don't know which doctor to go to. I think we've all been there. Booking a doctor appointment can just feel so daunting. But thanks to ZocDoc, there's no reason to delay. They make it so easy to find and book a doctor who's right for you. ZocDoc is a free app and website where you can search and compare high-quality, in-network doctors and click to instantly book an appointment. We're talking about booking in-network appointments with more than 100,000 doctors across every specialty, from mental health to dental health, primary care to urgent care. Sally and I are always looking for ways to get things done efficiently and quickly, even when it comes to booking our doctor's appointments. So stop putting off those doctor's appointments and go to ZocDoc.com/Sally to find and instantly book a top-rated doctor today. That's ZocDoc.com/SALLY. ZocDoc.com/Sally. All right, Sal.
All right, Ed.
Let's move into today's topic of, I have a couple questions that we're following back up on that we didn't get to, was it 2 episodes ago, where we had a bunch of questions for you. Sally Says section was elongated, and it was kind of the whole episode, and there were a few that we didn't get to that we wanted to get to. And so we're going to hammer these out and get some answers to some of these questions before you get on a plane to France.
Mm-hmm.
What do you think?
Let's do it.
Let's do it. All right, first one.
Love answering the community question.
Yes. The first one is, do you have any advice while running while pregnant?
Yeah, it's when I was coaching women's fitness classes, I did these group fitness classes. There's always like 1 or 2 ladies that would get pregnant, and ladies that would train with me throughout their entire pregnancy. And then, of course, I noticed through my 2 pregnancies, I trained as well.
Yeah.
And the immediate thing I want to point out is everyone is different. Like women, our bodies handle pregnancy in various ways. And some of that has to do with the state of health we're in when we first get pregnant. So if you are consistently training instead of maybe you want to start training when you are pregnant, the advice here is going to be a little bit different. I'd say that heart rate is one of the best indicators and measures that you're going to keep track of while you train, especially as you move along in your pregnancy. But I believe too, just the second thing is, maybe this is the most important. It really is how you feel.
Mm-hmm.
Even though I was very fit, especially with me, like I got pregnant with Makenzie like right after I ran the Boston Marathon. So I was like really fit and had a lot of endurance and strength. But 16 weeks in, it didn't feel good running anymore.
Mm-hmm.
And so I didn't run. Well, sometimes I would do like a power hike, like jog, but for the most part, I think once I hit like between 16 and 20 weeks, I just did walking and lifting and elliptical and things like that. I just didn't like the feeling of running, feeling the baby in my stomach. Isaiah was different though. So 2 years later, when I got pregnant with Isaiah, I remember he was like a week late, which is so funny. Like his personality, he's like such a cuddly kid. I'm like, he just wanted to stay warm in my belly. But I remember I ran my entire pregnancy with him, and very different. I remember that even that week that he was late, I was like, I'm getting on the treadmill. This kid needs to come out, So, and my weight was very different with both of the kids. I think I was at least 30 pounds heavier with Makenzie. I think overall, I gained like 60 pounds with Makenzie. And then Isaiah, it was like 35, 40. I think it was like 35 with Isaiah. So I just felt different in both of those pregnancy. I ate differently. I've moved differently. Morning sickness was different between the two. And I don't, it may have been maybe because of the hormone levels with a boy versus a girl. But yeah, so I think that's just, it's so important to highlight that. I think as moms, especially when we are getting pregnant when we are pregnant and our bodies are changing, and then especially post, it's so easy to kind of get caught up in what other moms are doing. We scroll online like, it must be nice that she can still train this whole entire time. Meanwhile, I've got morning sickness for 12 hours a day. And I always try to remind women, like, show yourself grace in this time. One, it is just a miracle, such a gift to be pregnant. It's a miracle. It's such a gift to give birth to a baby. And realizing now as Isaiah's about to graduate this year, it's like, it goes by so fast. And those first few years are so precious. So it's okay if everything takes longer. It's okay if things don't feel good or your body isn't feel right, in those months after, giving birth, and it's going to take a lot longer to build back up. It's okay. So I think that even as you are navigating running while pregnant, listen to your body. I would say wear a heart rate monitor. I think that's one of the best things you can do. Is you want to stay in like an easy aerobic heart rate. You do want to keep that heart rate down a little bit more than maybe you usually do. I'm not a doctor. Of course, I always recommend go and talk to your doctor about it. But I also think, you're going to have varying opinions from doctors too, just like general, like personal opinions. You might have some doctors like, yeah, keep doing everything you're doing. Don't change. And I've even heard other doctors say like, yeah, you can get your heart rate up. Just don't let it be a sustained high heart rate for X amount of minutes. So I again, going back to like, if you feel fine and you're used to training all the time, like there's nothing wrong with just running easy and keeping it in that low aerobic heart rate. Don't get that heart rate too high. But again, you're always going to have to defer to your doctor, because I'm not a doctor, and feel out each pregnancy, as a unique experience.
Yeah.
So
it is interesting to see like a pregnant woman running. That's like very pregnant, right? You've seen that a couple times. It just it's like crazy how our bodies are like the female body is like so it's amazing. Like you can run with a human and it's pretty cool.
My friends Leah and Rachel, they're in Utah, both professional athletes. Leah Yingling and Rachel Drake, they've run and hiked and trained throughout their entire pregnancy. And Leah just recently had her baby. But it's like, it's interesting. Again, it's like when your body's so used to like doing something, getting pregnant doesn't mean you shut down and you don't do anything at all. But everyone's body also responds differently. So it is working with that doctor is of utmost importance, having them check in on you and make sure that your levels and everything is okay, because everyone has, different needs and things change with as the baby grows. You know, you might feel amazing and great like in the beginning, and then you could hit 5-6 months in and be like, this isn't working. I do not feel good. And maybe I'm going to move over to more Pilates and strength training and just going on walks and maybe cycling. But the cool thing too is it's discussed more. And it is common to see women out running. I mean, I had another teammate, this is back in my the early Nike trail days, and she's super fast half marathon road marathoner, but she was, I think it was either in her 7th or 8th month, ran like a 5-minute mile.
Jeez.
Like I was like, and just belly, like from behind, you had no idea. And it is like in my mind, and I'm like, we are not the same. We're on the same team, but there's no way that I could have done that with either of my pregnancies. But it does go back again, like we're all different. But the one thing we all have in common is that we just get this precious gift of life. And so enjoying that uniqueness, enjoying that, like, this is what works for me, this is what feels good, and this is what I need is a good approach. And again, having a good doctor to talk through all of that.
Walk through that. Yeah. All right. Good advice there. All right. Second one is, this is a very popular one that we get quite a bit that comes into you. It's an IT band issue. This person asked just how do you get relief from it or how do you get rid of it?
Mm-hmm.
Like, what do you do? Or what do you say?
It's a common running injury. 80% of runners are injured every single year. And this is one of the most common ones. Shin splints is a common one, plantar fasciitis. So yeah, I think those are, IT band is a top hitter. One of the things that we're seeing more and more, and it's just our culture is much more sedentary than it's ever been in the history of humans. And that even goes for people that work out every day. So if you work out every single day for 1 to 2 hours and then you go and you sit for 10, 12 hours a day, if we count in your commute to work or school, and then the time that you're spending at that desk or, working from home or from a coffee house or, whatever it is, we spend a lot of time sitting.
Yeah.
This is also what contributes to many, not all, but many IT band injuries. IT band injuries have a direct connection to what's going on in your glutes and your hips. And if you have weakness and imbalance there, then it's going to affect your IT band. And your IT band, there are various ways that you're going to experience that pain. So for some are going to feel it in the side of the knee, the sharp stabbing pain. It literally feels like someone's stabbing you in the side of your knee as you move. If you are feeling it up in the hip, that's especially when you know it's pretty serious.
Yeah.
And then others are just going to have just like that really deep tightness going down the side of the leg. So I feel like there's different stages of the IT band injury, but the first thing I always tell people is start strengthening your hips and your glutes, like immediately. We see people roll out and try to stretch the IT band. Remember, it's not something you don't stretch your IT band. I think we say it loosely.
Yeah.
Especially like health professionals are going to say, oh, you got to stretch that out. You got to roll that out. I think on one hand, it's so that we kind of like understand what it is that we need to do. Like that's what we feel like we want to do. We want to like stretch it, but it's a band. It's a big, strong piece of fascia. You don't stretch it. So foam rolling it will help like loosen it because it does get really tight and it's pulling. So doing different stretches or putting yourself into different positions. I have stuff in my app in my mobility stretching category that you can check out. I always recommend people to get my app because there's a lot of very runner specific stuff in there. IT band injury was the first huge injury that I had in ultra running back in 2009, 2010. And it was so bad, I didn't run in 2011. I thought I was done actually running. It was such a terrible, I couldn't run more than 100 yards without being in pretty significant pain. And so I love talking about the IT band because that was where I understood the importance of very specific PT style hip and glute exercises.
Mm-hmm.
I had a PT beforehand, before I got that injury, tell me like, hey, you need to strengthen your glutes. And I was like, are you joking me? Like I was in the gym all the time. I was always strength training. But his point was you have some imbalances and weaknesses, and it will be magnified if you're going to continue doing these ultras. And sure enough, 5 months later, I got the injury that he said I would get, and it took me out for almost a year. So what I did to come back from that was just incorporate almost on the daily, hip and glute strengthening. And it could be band work. There's really great Pilates exercises, all different types of leg strengthening that you can do, these Pilates exercises that are just body weight. And then just very specific types of stretches, even though you're not necessarily stretching the IT band, but getting these positions that just kind of unlock you because you can kind of get really tight in the joint areas, both in the knee and the hip. And that's like what you're feeling. You want to open up your hip. You want to strengthen the glute. You want to support that IT band and make sure that it's moving in the right way. So we can get locked up, we can get stuck, and we can get weak in all the areas surrounding the IT band. And that's where you're going to experience that pain. So I think whether you're training for a race or not, whether you're an ultra runner or not, IT band issues, they're going to affect you if you're a ball sport player or if you do CrossFit or if you're a triathlete. It's because we just sit so much. So yeah, look at my app for those strength exercises and the mobility stuff, but the strengthening and foam rolling and mobility exercises, opening up those hips, that's what's going to really help.
I know over a year ago. I know I had some IT stuff, and you pointed me to those app workouts, and I didn't love doing them just because I'm not used to it. But
they're boring.
But
they're so boring.
Definitely felt that they helped.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I definitely felt it. But.
Yeah, you don't need a lot. I mean, I try to encourage people to work the exercises into their everyday life so that it doesn't feel like, oh, another thing I have to do.
Yeah.
So do 2 exercises after you get up in the morning. Do 2 exercises like on your lunch break. Do 2 exercises before you go to bed. Every little bit helps, but you're basically, you keep training your brain and your body to hold a position that it needs to stay strong. And all those little exercises, they do count. You don't need big equipment. I've always kept a resistance band next to my bed, so I can just drop down real quick. I can do some clams with the resistance band. I can do some leg lifts. I can do hip circles and some Jane Fondas and all these little things. When you are consistently doing that every day, you'll start to notice these little changes, and you'll notice it in your running form too.
Yeah.
Because your hip girdle is just stronger. It's more stable and it's more supportive. And that's really, really important for us as runners, especially for those of us that want to do the longer distances.
Yeah, it's crazy the amount of injuries that are from weak glutes, right?
Yeah.
Weak core.
Weak hip and glute, they connect with almost every running injury. So if even in people, I had someone write in about an ankle, instability in the ankle pain. It's like, well, it might not even be your ankle. You're feeling the pain there, but it actually might be an imbalance in your hip. The same with the knee. People, I got knee pain. It's like, well, it could be like an actual glute or hip. We have to remember our body is a chain. It's got this kinetic chain. And so your hip girdle, if it's off, whether it's like a hip is higher than another hip, which that's always my problem. I hike up on one side, or if you're tilted or you're inverted, or, there's all this stuff that can happen in your hip girdle, which that supports every joint beneath you. So that travels down to your knee, it travels down to your ankle. And so if you're off a little bit, you're not just going to feel it in your hip or your low back. It might affect your ankle as you try to run. So every time you run, it's going to affect your running gait, and just your whole biomechanics can be off. So I think it's worth it. I understand not everyone has access to this, but it is so worth it to go to a sports PT and get a running gait analysis, because they're going to look at your body uniquely and say, well, you actually don't need these band exercises. You need these band exercises. Your weakness actually isn't here. It's here. And so they're going to give you really specific things to work on. They're going to take a look at your shoulders from behind. Do your shoulders dip to one side? Does your hip drop every time you run? I mean, some of these analyses, you can't see it with the human eye. If I just look at a runner, sometimes you can, but sometimes people have such slight things in their running gait that need to be analyzed. And so it could be foot strike, you strike a little bit too far ahead of you. That's another reason why we see IT band issues too. If you're overstriding, well, the pressure when your heel hits the ground, that shock, the way that you're absorbing that travels straight up through your knee, through your hip, right into your low back. And that's not fun for your IT band at all. So even the act of changing your running gait, which that takes 10,000 hours to do. That isn't an overnight thing. But just the act of telling an athlete, land with your feet right under your body, shorten your gait. That doesn't mean that you're not running slower when you shorten your gait. You're just making sure that your foot lands right under the center of your body mass. You can still keep the same cadence up. You can still keep that 170, 180 cadence up. We're just now protecting your body. And when you land with your foot directly under the center of your body mass, it's like this cushion. You got this good propulsion and this bounce, and that's a very protective position for your body. If you ever look at like a wrestler or a defender on the soccer field or a basketball player or a football player, when they get into a defensive position, they're never leaning back. They never have one foot way out in front of them. They always get into a position where both the right and left foot are centered right under the center of the body mass. Why? Because you cannot push somebody off in that position. You're strongest in that position. You're the most balanced in that position, and you can change direction quickest in that position.
Yeah.
And so think of this in running. And this is why I always think that like soccer players and basketball players, football players, anybody that had agility training, they tend to actually be really good trail runners because they know when they hit like a technical trail, they hit that like descent, they actually know how to put their body into a position where they can move their feet and they're agile and they move very quickly down a trail because it's something that they've learned their whole life if they grew up playing that sport is this is how we move quickly. This is how we protect the body quickly and we don't fall. And so they pick up their feet quick and they can move laterally like really quickly and they naturally don't overstride. And it's very easy to do, especially like on a downhill. We all overstride on a downhill. We brake on a downhill. That's why people are in a lot of pain in their IT bands and their quads because they're braking so much, leaning back, slamming their heel into the mountain. But if you hunker down and get your feet right under the center of your body mass and run like a squirrel down the hill, you'll protect that IT band. And it's the same thing if you're running on a flat. Mm-hmm. Have the feet land right under the center of your body mass. I've said this to athletes that I've paced, friends that I've paced in races. If they start complaining that their IT band hurts, I say shorten your gait. You're going to shorten your stride length and you're going to take these short steps. Your feet are going to land right under the center of your body mass. And I want you to focus on engaging your glutes the whole time. And it does wonders for people. I mean, it's exhausting mentally because I'm trying to get them to change their gait in the middle of the race, but it is a more supportive, more gentle way, and you're taking off the pressure from the IT band.
Yeah, I always remember when we go on like family hikes, we go downhill, you're always yelling, tighten your glutes, guys, lock in the glutes, tighten them up, you'll be good.
Yeah.
So. All right, good advice, Sal. We are out of time because we got to get you off to France. So do you have any parting words before we say goodbye to those that are running, driving, lifting, doing laundry? What do we got?
Yeah, I just want to encourage everyone to keep moving.
Yes.
This is actually a hard time of year for people because a lot of the races are coming to an end. So a lot of people have already done their A races or people are about to do that. This is also the time of year where vacations are winding down, kids are going back to school. We're trying to get back on that schedule. And so I just want to encourage you wherever you are in your training, the most important thing that you're doing is just being consistent, not so much the volume, the pace, the duration, just be consistent and do something. And so if you're like in that in between, maybe you've lost your mojo, you've lost that motivation, allow yourself to get out for a walk. Tell yourself every day this week that you're going to get out after dinner and go for a walk with a loved one, with a friend, with a neighbor, someone in your family, or just your dog. Get out for 20 minutes and just walk. Make movement your routine. It will change your state mentally. Leave that phone at the house. Put those screens down. Let yourself move. And then I can't encourage you enough. Get into the habit of doing a couple glute and hip exercises every single day. You can do leg lifts while you're washing the dishes at the sink. You can do squats in place while you're brushing your teeth. You can keep a resistance band next to your bed and you have 2 exercises that you do before you go to bed every single night that it's going to take you just a couple minutes. See what happens when you consistently do that. After 2 weeks, you're going to be surprised. The littlest changes give you back the biggest gains. And one of the most powerful things you can do for yourself, because you do deserve this, is giving yourself a healthy routine. Don't think of that as training. I'm not talking about a training routine. I'm not talking about a training program or looking at a race. It's a healthy routine that keeps you strong every single day so that you can continue to enjoy the life that you love, so that you can continue to have that good total well-being, so that you can run around with your friends, with your kids or your grandkids or whatever it is. You deserve that. You get one body. You get one shot at this life, and this one body that you have, you got to take care of it. But don't get so caught up or believe that means that you need to be on this rigid training program every single day. No, it's just every day you move. So keep moving, stay committed to that. Eddie and we are rooting for you always. We believe in you. Keep choosing strong in all you do.